Hello everyone, here Tony from the RMIFusion team, and I'm here for a quick review, nothing too in-depth for this one, but we're looking at a very strange, odd little title that Sega did, known as The Typing of the Dead. Yeah, everyone is famous and very knowledgeable about the House of the Dead series and its great gun shooting action, but not very many people were aware that they decided to do something a little bit different with the game as well. Well, get hats off to Sega. They were innovative at the time, and they thought, hey, well, if you could shoot zombies with a gun, why can't you shoot zombies with a keyboard? And this is where the Typing of the Dead then emerged. Basically what they did, they took the whole entire House of the Dead game, as it is, no changes to patterns or anything like that, and then they decided, hell, let's, instead of firing bullets, when you press letters on the keyboard, that constitutes as firing bullets. And we could also make it harder by making you type longer words, and add abbreviations into it as well. And also punctuation, which, trust me, is always a pain in the rear end for this game. But like I say, the game plays exactly the same storyline and everything else as House of the Dead 2. I do notice that the graphics, they're still the same. They're looking a bit rough nowadays, but hey. But the game in itself, when you find it download, is only about 100 megs. It's not all that big. But yeah, the storyline still follows the same, but like I say, when the zombies appear, basically you'll see boxes with what you've got to type in it. And then you simply drum away on your keyboard to actually knock out all the correct word to defeat the monster. And basically the faster you could do it with fewer mistakes equals the higher ranking you get. And that's pretty much as it is where you go through the game. Now, of course, the boss battles will be a little bit different. For example, the words usually have a tendency to be longer. And say with the second boss, the Hierophant, you could only type while his chest cavity is open, which in the original game was his weakness. You could only hit him while his chest was open. So basically, while his chest is closed, it will disable your ability to type. You can still bang on the keyboard, but it does have to give you that eye-to-screen coordination, so you have to see when it's ready to go again. So yeah, and then also with Tower, the Tower boss, that big three-headed snake-style thing, it basically asks you a question, and then 3 answers will come up, and you have to type the correct one to hit the correct head of the tower. So yeah, it does play a little bit differently from the others. Now, of course, there's been some alterations. Some of the zombies, not only do they chuck axes and things like that, they now walk around with golf clubs and plungers and rubber mallets, you know, those squeaky type ones, which adds to a bit to the charm to the game and makes it look a bit more funny. Yeah, it's actually quite amusing when you actually lose health to the fact he's just chucked a ladle at you. So yeah, that does put a bit more to the joy factor of this game. Also along the way, you also basically get brief pauses in the action where you get mission-based ones, where you'll get given, say, you've got to kill 10 zombies in 30 seconds, or you've got to defeat the zombies without taking any damage. It's simplistic, yeah, I know, but hey, it works. And then they can also give you extra little power-ups. And talking of power-ups, yes, the power-ups are still in the game. You can't shoot any of the barrels anymore, but what they do is they put them prominently on display, and you need to be very, very quick to snatch them. Perfect example is you may see something and it'll have just a single letter. If you can hit the single letter, then of course you'll get the power up, or sometimes a downgrade as well. Things to help you along the way is like relevant things, so they can turn all the next set of words into stuff that's actually of the same sort of type of wording. So you could all end up with what would be put through as a car or something like that. So it does actually make the game a bit more fairer for you, but doesn't make it any easier, especially if it starts cropping out longer words. As you can see, like I say, that came up and you got Q. It also gives you some cosmetic changes as well. So you can actually sit there and you can actually be a zombie. Yeah, it doesn't do anything to the gameplay wise, but it's still amusing to see him running into, at the end of a cutscene, and seeing him talking to a zombie. Much, much fun. Anyway, is this a good game? It's a very, very different game, I say that. And as a typing tutorial, it's not exactly, how can I say it? It's not exactly a very learnative one, but I would sure as hell play this over any sort of typing tutorial any day of the bloody week. Seriously, think about it. What would you rather do? If you wanted to just have a fun sort of practice to buff up on your typing, what would you rather do? Do you want to be sitting there being bored stupid by a long lecturing sort of speech, or would you rather be sitting there blasting zombies to pieces in a fight for your life? Yeah, I know what I'd rather choose being a gamer. I'd rather go for this any day of the week, because, hey, it's different. Sega came up with a good win of this one, and they actually did make a Typing of the Dead 2, which is a similar sort of thing, but they just did it with the House of the Dead 3 game. Only problem is it was only released in Japan and never saw a European release, which is sad really, because while this one did, it makes me wonder why they didn't release the next one. I mean, it doesn't need a powerhouse system to run the House of the Dead games, but it still would have been a lot more fun than having somebody dictate to you, you must be able to type this. And mind you, when you come up to the Emperor on this one, you've got to be able to type at 50 words a minute. It is that quick. Especially with the Magician as well. He is exceedingly quick as well. Your typing skills have to be top notch. But then again, as the levels progress, it basically keeps it simple in the first few, but then builds it up as it goes on. Anyway, this is Tony saying goodbye to everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you can find a downloadable copy of this somewhere, or just find a real copy of it somewhere, I really do, you wouldn't pay much for it, and I really do recommend it. Especially if you just want to play something a little bit different, or just do some typing. Alright, thanks very much, and I'll see you all soon.